Hello sports fans, it's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And today I have another matchup for you in a card and dice Strat-O-Matic game. And in today's matchup, we will have the 1959 San Francisco Giants visiting the 1920 St. Louis Cardinals. As you can see, both teams were roughly about the same quality team relative to their league and their era. And there are a lot of great stars, and there's a few Hall of Famers going to be in this game, so it should be exciting. We will start off with the starting pitchers today for the teams. For the San Francisco Giants of 1959, the starting pitcher will be Sam Jones, and there's his card. And the starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals of 1920 will be Jesse Haynes, and there's his card and his record. And I will be, as I've done in the past, I will show the cards as the players come up. The first team up is the 1959 Giants. And they will start with, their first batter is Jackie Brandt. And today Jackie Brandt will be playing left field. He was an excellent left fielder, as you can see, left field 1. And he will start off. And he gets a 1-3, which is a ground ball shortstop A. So that's 1 away. 6-3 for Brandt. And that brings up Orlando Cepeda for the Giants, who will be the first baseman today. And he gets a 2-5, which is a strikeout, which was right between 2 home runs. So that's a strikeout for Jesse Haynes. And that brings up Willie Mays. And there's Willie Mays' card. Obviously a Gold Glove center fielder, center field 1. And he gets a 4-8, and he flies out off Jesse Haynes to the right fielder. So we have a fly out to 9 for Willie Mays. So the Giants get no runs in the first, and that brings up the Cardinals, and they will lead off with Jack Smith in center field. Jack Smith being a perfect name for the witness protection plant program, but also probably his real name. 6-8 on Sam Jones is a fly ball to left field, so he flies out to 7. The next batter will be Jack Fournier, and Jack Fournier is the first baseman today for the Cardinals. He gets a 6-8, and that's also a fly ball left field, 2 away. And that brings up Rogers Hornsby, 370 batting average this particular year, and a second base 2, and he will be at second base today. And he is one of the Hall of Famers, along with also Willie Mays, that will be in this game, and that's a 3-3 ground ball shortstop. So he's out 6-3. And nobody gets anybody on base in the first inning. And now we will have Willie Kirkland coming up against Sam Jones. And Willie Kirkland is going to be the right fielder today for the Giants. He gets a 1-6, which is a ground ball shortstop. So he's out 6-3, 1 away. The next batter is Jim Davenport, which is really just a fancy way of saying couch. And he will be the third baseman in today's game. 3-2, line out plus injury. Line out to third base. Okay, so we've got a line out to 5, and we have to go for the injury, and that's a 14, so he's going to miss at least the rest of the game, which is the only thing that we're really concerned about. So we will need a new third baseman for the Giants. And we're going to be looking for that. Not a lot of good options here. No, there aren't. And the new third baseman will be Danny O'Connell. So let's write him in. And he is considerably worse, third base 3. And I will show his card, even though he's not going to be batting right now, but there's his card. He's the replacement for Davenport. So you can see that's a serious down step. And now we have 2 outs, and Darryl Spencer is up, and Darryl Spencer today will be the second baseman for the Giants. And there's his card. And he gets a 5-3, which is a ground ball first base. And the first baseman for the Cardinals is a 4. That's Fournier, and that's 3. And I think that is going to be a base hit, but I don't know what happened to my chart. What happened to my chart? Oh, there it is. Okay. First base 3 and 4. Is a single. So Darryl Spencer gets the first hit of the game, and that is off Jesse Haynes, and that's the first hit allowed by Haynes. He has 2 outs with 1 runner on, and that brings up Hobie Landreth, and Hobie Landreth is going to be the catcher today, and there's his card. And he gets a 3-6, which is a pop out to second base. So not a lot of offense going on here. So far, only 1 runner on in a inning and a third. Or an inning and a half. And it brings up Austin McHenry for St. Louis. And Austin McHenry will be the left fielder today. He gets a 6-8. That is a fly ball to left field. We've had that twice before. Fly out to 7. The next batter for St. Louis is Milt Stock, and Milt Stock is the third baseman, and there's his card. He gets a 4-10, which is a catcher's card, and the catcher is a 4, and that's a 1, which is probably a strikeout. Yes, it is. So Milt Stock with a K, and the first strikeout for Sam Jones. And then that brings up Joe Schultz. And Joe Schultz today for the Cardinals is the right fielder. And he gets a 4-7, and that's a walk off Sam Jones. So Schultz with a walk, and he's the first Cardinal to reach base today. And that brings up Doc Lavin, and Doc Lavin will be the shortstop today for the Cardinals. And he gets a 1-5, and that's a fly ball center field B. Fly out to 8, no runs come in, and we've got no base. We've got no score and only 2 base runners through 2 innings. And that brings up Ed Brassard to lead it off in the third for the Giants, and he's the shortstop. for the Giants today, and he gets a 4-6, which is a pop out to shortstop. So pop out to 6. That brings up the pitcher, who is Sam Jones, and he's going to be using the number 1 pitcher's hitting card. He gets a 1-5, which is a strikeout. And that's a strikeout for Haynes. And that brings up Jackie Brandt. And Jackie Brandt gets a 3-4, which is a fly ball center field B. So he flies out to 8. And there are no runs across for the Giants. And now we come to the bottom of the 3rd with the Cardinals up. And Vern Clemens is going to lead it off. And he is the catcher today for the 1920 Cardinals. And there's his record and his card. And he gets a 3-12, which is a foul out to catcher. Foul out to 2. That brings up Jesse Haynes, and Jesse Haynes will be using the number 2 pitcher's batting card today. And he gets a 5-6, which is a strikeout on Sam Jones. And Sam Jones with the strikeout. And that brings up Jack Smith. And he gets a 1-8, and that's a single. Jack Smith rips a hit. Got to get excited on those hits because they don't seem to be coming. And Sam Jones, that's the first hit he's allowed this game. That brings up Jack Fournier, and he gets a 2-5, which is a single 1 asterisk. So that is the second hit allowed. Happens to be all in the same inning, and with Rogers Hornsby coming up right after him. Not a good situation. But Rogers Hornsby grounds out to the shortstop. So 6-3, and the inning is over. So the Cardinals mounted a small threat there, but Sam Jones took care of it. That brings up Orlando Cepeda to lead off the 4th for the Giants. He gets a 5-5, and that's a strikeout. And a strikeout for 3rd strikeout of the game for Jesse Haynes. And that brings up Willie Mays. And Willie Mays gets a 3-4, which is a home run. Home run Willie Mays. Had to think maybe you were going to see that this game. And that's a hit allowed and an earned run on Haynes. Brings up Willie Kirkland. He gets a 4-8, and that's a fly ball to right field. Fly out to 9. And then that brings up Danny O'Connell, who is the replacement at 3rd base for Jim Davenport, who got injured, and that's a 2-12 walk. So O'Connell, even though he doesn't have a very good card, does manage to work a walk. And the first one issued by Haynes in the game. And that brings up Darryl Spencer. He gets a 1-9. That's a single. So all of a sudden, things are looking pretty bad here for Haynes. He gave up the home run to Mays, and he's allowed 2 runners on with 2 outs. And Hobie Landreth up. And he gets a 6-5. And that is a home run 1-5 or a double. And it is a double. So another run scores. Landreth knocks in a run. And the runner is O'Connell, I believe, yes. And Haynes gives up another hit and an earned run. And now runners are at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, and Ed Brassard up. And he gets a 6-8 on Haynes, and that's a walk to load the bases. So yeah, I guess. And that brings up the pitcher, and that's Sam Jones with the number 1 card, and that's a 5-5 strikeout. So had to figure that was probably coming, but still They do get 2 runs, the Giants, in the 4th inning, and take the 2-0 lead. And that brings up Austin McHenry to lead off the bottom of the 4th for the Cardinals. And he gets a 3-7, which is a fly ball left field. That brings up Milt Stock. Milt Stock gets a 4-9, which is a ground ball second, or wait a minute, let's see. No, that's a strikeout, 2 away. So Sam Jones with the K. And that brings up Joe Schultz. And Joe Schultz gets a 4-7, which is a walk. And that's the second walk of the game for Sam Jones. And that brings up Levon, Doc Levon. 4-7 is a walk. So now the Cardinals are trying a bit of a rally here. Third walk allowed by Sam Jones. And Vern Clemens comes up and he gets a 4-7, and that's also a walk. 4-7 3 times in a row for 3 consecutive walks. And that brings up the pitcher, Jesse Haynes. And St. Louis really needs the runs. They're not getting a lot of guys on base, or I mean they are this inning, but they're in general they aren't. So they will bring in a pinch hitter to bat against Sam Jones and try to knock a couple of these runners in at least. So we are looking for the person that will be trying to do that, and that will probably be Cliff Heathcote. So let's get this Cliff Heathcote, pinch hitter. Pretty early, but you know, the Cardinals, based on how this game is going, have to be thinking that this is probably what they've got to do. So Cliff Heathcote, and there's Cliff Heathcote's card, the pinch hitter. Just about to take his cut at it, and he gets a 3-7, which is a ground ball B. So ground ball to the first baseman. So he's out. We'll see, 3-1, and that ends the rally. They didn't get any runs, and now Heathcote has to go back to the bench, and Jesse Haynes is not the pitcher anymore. They will bring in they're going to bring in Jackie May to pitch, and he's a pitcher's hitting card 4. So for the moment, we will at least go try to find the 4 pitcher's hitting card, and we'll write his name in there, Jackie May. Pitcher 5. So Jesse Haynes went 4 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 walk, struck out 4, and allowed 2 earned runs. It really wasn't that bad of a pitching performance. It was just that the Cardinals really had to try to take a chance and get that run. Or did they? Let me know in the comments what do you think, whether I went to get a pinch hitter a little too early with just down 2-0. But it looked like that was really the call to make at that moment. So we've got Jackie Brandt leading off for the Giants in the 5th against now Jackie May. And he gets a 6'9". 6'9" is a shortstop X. And the shortstop for the Cardinals is a 3, and that's an 8. 8 and 3 is an out. And out to shortstop, Brandt. That brings up Orlando Cepeda. He gets a 6'2", which is a fly ball right field. The right fielder is a 4, and that's a 12. 12 and 4 is a single. So there's a 1-out single by Cepeda. Jackie May allows his first hit, and that brings up Willie Mays. And Willie Mays gets a 6'3", which is a strikeout. And that brings up Willie Kirkland. And Willie Kirkland gets a 4-8, and that's a walk. And that's the one thing that Jackie May did have a problem with, is control. Apparently, he did walk a lot of people for the innings that he pitched. Pitched 71 innings, but walked 37 guys. And that brings up Danny O'Connell, and he gets a 6'6", which is a single 1 to 15. And he gets a single. So Danny O'Connell, coming in for the injured Davenport, has gotten 2 hits. And is that bases loaded? It is, indeed. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs and Darrell Spencer up. And he gets a 5-8, and that's a fly ball. Fly ball to left field. So Darrell Spencer flies out to 7 with the bases juiced, and they come away with no runs. So far the Jackie May replacement, it bent, but it didn't break yet. And Jack Smith is up. He gets a 6'5". That is a second base C, so he's out. Bottom of the 5th, yeah. Yeah, second base, 4-3. That brings up Jack Fournier. 4'11", that's a first base X. First baseman is a 3, Orlando Cepeda, that's a 10-3 at first base. And that is an out. So 3-1, we'll just call it. And that brings up Rogers Hornsby, and he gets a 4-5, and a 4-5 is a single on Sam Jones. And that's the 3rd hit allowed by Sam Jones, and that brings up Austin McHenry, and he gets a 1-8, which is a ground ball, third base A. So he gets out 5-3. And no runs come in for the Cardinals. So the Giants, the 59 Giants, are still holding a slim 2-0 lead over the Cardinals, and Hobie Landreth is up for San Francisco. And he gets a 5-7, which is a second base X. Their second baseman is a 2, that's Rogers Hornsby. That's a 19-2 at second, and that's an out. So he gets out, he gets out 4-3. That brings up Ed Brissoud. 4-7, and that is going to be a walk. That is the second walk issued by May. And that brings up the pitcher, Sam Jones, and Sam Jones will hit, and he gets a 4-9, which is a walk. So Sam Jones getting a walk. And that's the third walk issued by Jackie May. There's 2 runners on and 1 out. And that brings up Brandt, and he gets out shortstop double play. So Brandt bouncing out, 6-4-3. And again, Jackie May escapes a bit of a tough situation. And that brings up the 20 Cardinals in the bottom of the 6th with Milt Stock up. And he gets a 1-9 and he grounds out to the shortstop. There's 1 away. Brings up Joe Schultz. Joe Schultz with a 4-8. That's a walk. So Joe Schultz drawing the walk off of Sam Jones. That brings up Doc Lavin, and he gets a 1-2, which is a ground ball double play to the pitcher. So that is a 1-4-3 double play, and they get no runs. And we go to the top of the 7th, and in the top of the 7th, Orlando Cepeda will bat against Jackie May again. 1-8 single for Cepeda. So yeah, there he is, single in the 7th. So the 3rd inning, this is the 3rd inning of work for Jackie May. And that brings up Willie Mays. And Willie Mays gets we'll have to re-roll that one. A 1-11 is a ground ball B. So now Willie Mays is on first with 1 away. And he will try to steal. And that's a 16, so he's thrown out. I mean, I don't know what the negatives were, but it had to have been that he was thrown out. So 2 away. They're helping Jackie May out here. And Willie Kirkland comes up, and he gets a ground ball first base B. So 3-1, I'll just say. And so no runs for the Giants there, and we're in the bottom of the 7th. And the bottom of the 7th, we've got Vern Clemens coming up, and he gets a 2-9, which is a single. So Vern Clemens does get a hit, and here this is the bottom of the 7th, yes. Hit allowed by Sam Jones. That's the 4th of the game for him. With Jackie May up, they will take him out for a pinch hitter. They will take him out for Hal Janvrin. And he will be the pinch hitter. There's Hal Janvrin's card. They don't have very many good hitters left on this bench, so they do have that issue. And that brings him up to hit, and he gets a 5-5, which is a strikeout. So Janvrin in the 7th with the strikeout. And that's a strikeout for Sam Jones. And that's 1 out. And we're going to have to find the pitcher that's going to be replacing him. And that's probably going to be Lou North. And Lou North may not be coming up again, so I don't know that well, I don't want to say that. It's only 2-0. So Lou North is a batting card 4. So yeah, so that's the same card that we just left. So there is 1 on and 1 out, and Jack Smith is up back to the top of the lineup. And he gets a 4-4, and that's a home run 1-6 or a fly ball. And that's just a fly ball, harmless fly ball to right field, out 9. Fly out to 9. And that brings up Jack Fournier, and he gets a 3-7, which is a walk. So Sam Jones walks his 6th guy of the game, and that brings up Rogers Hornsby. And he gets a 1-9, and that's a fly ball center field B right between two things. So fly out to 8, but Sam Jones escapes the trouble. And then we will go to the Giants batting in the top of the 8th. And they'll bring up Danny O'Connell against Lou North, who I have to write in now. And Jackie May went 3. And that is a 3-5, and that's going to be a... that is O'Connell, right? 3-5 is a strikeout. So Danny O'Connell strikes out in the 8th. And that's a strikeout for Lou North. That brings up Darryl Spencer, and that's a 5-4, which is a shortstop X. The shortstop is a 3. That's Lavin. 17-3 is an out with no runners on, so Spencer is out. What was that? 6-4. Fly out. And that brings up Hobie Landreth with 2 outs and nobody on. And he gets a 1-7, which is a single. Hobie Landreth getting a hit. Hit allowed by North. That's the first one allowed by him. And that brings up Brissoud. And Brissoud gets a 3-8, which is a ground ball third base B. So he's out 5-3. And that's the inning for the Giants. And with Sam Jones coming up next inning, they will let him at least finish this inning out. And Austin McHenry is going to bat against him in the 8th. And he gets a 2-7, which is a single. Hit allowed by Sam Jones. He is allowing a lot of runners on base. Milt Stock gets a 2-7 as a single 1, or a line out to third base. And it's going to be a line out to third base. Line out to 5. Brings up Joe Schultz. He gets a 2-9, which is a triple 1-8 or a single double asterisk. And that's going to be a triple that drives in a run. Joe Schultz. Oh yeah, St. Louis. So let's see. Triple. Run scores. Hit allowed by Jones. Maybe Jones went just a little too long. They will bring in the infield with 1 out. With Doc Lavin up, and he gets a 3-8, which is a single. So he drives the run home anyway. And Sam Jones gives up another hit and another earned run, and it's a tie game, and that brings up Vern Clemens, and that's a 5-7, and that's a strikeout on Clemens. That's what Sam Jones needed just a second ago. And now with 2 outs, that brings up the pitcher, Lou North, but they're going to let Lou North hit because they've already tied the game, and they don't have a lot of great pitching out there, and he strikes out. So let me write his name in because I don't have him written down. And that was a strikeout in the 8th, and a strikeout for Sam Jones, and Sam Jones goes 8. Because he's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter right now. And that brings Felipe Alou is going to pinch hit right now. In the 9th inning, or in the bottom of the 8th, or wait, oh, hold on. Yeah, in the top of the 9th. So that will be, yeah, that'll be Felipe Alou, pinch hitting. And he gets a 3-9, which is a fly ball. So Felipe Alou is out of the game. That was a fly ball center field, if you're scoring at home. Fly out to 8. That's 1 away. And the new pitcher will be the new pitcher. The new pitcher will be Al Worthington. So we write his name in here. And here. And he is a batter 1, so we've got the 1 card there. And that brings up, or was that the last out? No, that was the first out, so that was 1 out. So that brings up Jackie Brandt with 1 out, 1 away. He gets a 1-6, which is a walk. Jackie Brandt with a walk, and the first walk allowed by Lou North. That brings up Orlando Cepeda. He gets a 6-6, which is a fly ball center field B. So fly out to 8. And that brings up Willie Mays. And Willie Mays gets a 4-3, and that is a right field X. The right fielder for this team is a 4. And that's a 6. Probably an out, if I remember correctly. No, it isn't. It's a safe at second on error. So I didn't remember correctly. So Willie Mays gets on by a 2-base error. That was 4-3 right field, E9. And that's an error for Joe Schultz. That could be a very big error because Kirkland is up right now. And they are going to pinch hit for Kirkland. And they are going to bring in to pinch hit as I noticed on the bench, they have the excellent but only partial year for this particular year, Willie McCovey. But this McCovey card is great. There's the McCovey card. And he's going to pinch hit right now with runners at second and third and 2 outs. And the Giants in a tie game. So we're going to write in Willie McCovey. And he's the pinch hitter for Brissoud, or for Kirkland. So we're going to have to take Kirkland out. But right now we got to resolve this, and it's a 5-6, which is a strikeout for Willie McCovey. So that gamble didn't pay off. And now Bersaud, who was their shortstop, has got to be replaced. And they got to figure out who that's going to be, the shortstop. Can't be Davenport because he's injured. It's going to be Andre Rogers. So Andre Rogers will come in and play shortstop, and he is a 4. And he will bat in that position. And that brings up, that's no runs in the 9th there. And so now the Cardinals come up, they can score a run, they win this game with all of this maneuvering that's been going on. And Jack Smith will lead off in the 9th against the new Giants pitcher Al Worthington. And he gets a 6-9, which is a strikeout. So Worthington with the K. Jack Fournier comes up and he gets a 5-6, which is a fly ball, right field B. Right field B. Fly out 9. And that brings up Rogers Hornsby, and he gets a 4-3. He's been relatively quiet all day. Right field X, and the right fielder is a 3. And that's a 5. I think that's probably an out. And it is. So Hornsby with a fly out to 9. And that, we've got extra innings. We have free baseball here, folks. With Danny O'Connell coming up for the Giants in the 10th. And North still out there pitching. And that's a 6-6, which is a fly ball for O'Connell. And if you recall, he came on for the injured Davenport to play third base. So 6-6 fly ball center field. So fly out 8, that's 1 away. Darrell Spencer, 3-9 is a strikeout. So where's Darrell Spencer? Up here. He strikes out. And that is the second strikeout for North, Lou North. And that brings up Hobie Landreth. And Hobie Landreth gets a 5-8, which is a triple 1-9 single. And that is a triple. So Hobie Landreth hits a triple off of North. Now there's 2 outs, so they're not going to do anything special. They're just going to try to get Bersaud out. Wait a minute. Bersaud? Yes, Bersaud is the new batter. And he gets a 4-7, and that's a walk. So Bersaud extends the inning. And that is the second walk for North. And that brings up the pitcher, and they are not going to let the pitcher hit in this situation, that's for sure. With 2 outs and runners are at the corners. They are going to pinch hit, San Francisco will, and their best hitters are already used up, though. But I guess you got to do what you got to do. Let's see. They're going to go with Leon Wagner as the pinch hitter. Leon Wagner. Look at this. Dang. Look at this score sheet. It's a mess. All right, so Leon Wagner is going to bat against Lou North. And he gets a 2-3, which is a ground ball second base A. So Leon Wagner is out 4-3. And no runs for the 59 Giants there. And Worthington is out of the game, so he went 2. No, did he? No, he only went 1. Worthington only pitched 1 inning. And so let's see. Leon Wagner, pitcher 1 hitting card. Who are they going to bring in to pitch? They're going to bring in the not very often used that year, Joe Shipley, to pitch. He only pitched 18 innings. There's his card. It's not a good one either. But we're trying to get relievers in here because you don't want to use starting pitchers. Although I should have some kind of standard rule about that. But because, I mean, you know, I'm just going to put these teams away when this is done, and then they're not going to play again. Or it'll be a while before they do. So we're in the bottom of the 10th inning. St. Louis is up with Austin McHenry in the 10th batting against Joe Shipley. And he gets a 4-8, and that's a walk. So McHenry with a walk to lead it off against Shipley, who walks the first man he sees. That brings up Milt Stock. Milt Stock gets a 3-5, which is a double 1 to 8, single double asterisk. Single double asterisk. And that moves him to third. That moves McHenry to third, and Shipley gives up a hit. And the first 2 guys he faced get on base. Joe Schultz is up, and he gets a 1-3, which is a line out to third base. So that's 1 away. Line out to 5. And then that brings up Doc Lavin, and he gets a 3-6, which is a single 1 to 3. And that is not a single 1 to 3, and that's a line out shortstop. So line out to 6. And Shipley's getting lucky here. And then Vern Clemens comes up. He gets a 4-10, though his luck ran out, double 1 to 11. And that's a single double asterisk. So Clemens knocks in a run. And Shipley gives up the earned run. Let's see, yeah. Runners are at the corners. They've gotten a run in, but it's a 4-pitcher hitting card for Lou North, and he's been pitching well, so they're going to let him hit. And that's a 5-7, which is a ground ball second base, and the second baseman for the Giants is a 3, and that's a 16-3 at second base. And that is an out. So the pitcher, Lou North, gets out in the 10th, 4-3. But St. Louis, St. Louis won. They won the game with that. So he didn't even have to bat. So we'll take that right out. I didn't even realize. I so caught up in the game, I thought the Cardinals were the visiting team. So Shipley gets the loss and goes 2/3 of an inning. And North gets the win. 7, he goes 3. And he gets the win. And that was a pretty exciting game. Went into the 10th inning, and even went 1 extra batter than it should have been. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any comments, leave them below. That would be great to hear. And if you liked this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And be on the lookout for more content coming in the very near future. But for right now, it's Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.